Now is Marty Firestone, president of Travel Secure Inc. Marty, thanks so much for your time. Stats Canada is saying that Canadian residents returning by car from the U.S. dropped more than 35%. Your reaction?
The numbers don't lie. What you're seeing is what you get. And it's a very fluid situation. So yes, on the short-term travel, on the summer travel, on conferences being rescheduled and possibly not going to the U.S., there is no doubt in effect that the tariffs or the Canadian dollar, and that's the problem. We don't know what is the biggest factor here. It could be a combination of two of them, but short-term travel, no doubt, is being affected.
As you say, numbers don't lie, and we point specifically to tariffs potentially being a big factor in this drop. Do you see this travel trend continuing if tariffs don't change? Of course, a whole lot of uncertainty when it comes to the issue of tariffs.
Yeah, it's a great question. My concern, of course, just because of the nature of the business, is what's going to happen come October, November with the snowbirds. Will they return back to the U.S. or will they actually not? Now, the other question is, if they're not going to the U.S., are they still traveling but going somewhere else? Mexico, Dominican Republic, some other sun destination. So that's really up in the air. Won't have a handle on that for a little while. But my gut tells me there's definitely going to be a return to travel. I mean, we don't want to stay here. One snowstorm and they'll regret that decision to stay in Canada, I am sure.
You mentioned the issue of Canadians then rebooking vacations elsewhere. So there are, of course, many options Canadians might find themselves wanting to go to. Does it appear Canadians are choosing Canada instead at this point?
That is no doubt an option for summer because, of course, it's lovely. It's a great trip in itself. And the conferences that are typically held in the U.S., they are being rescheduled to within Canada, which makes so much sense in so many ways. The Canadian dollar, more bang for your buck, and not wanting to travel to the U.S. So, yeah, immediate effect there. What we have to see is hopefully some good things on the horizon, some ideas of snowbirds plus 50 able to stay for 240 days instead of 182. It's kind of like give and take, but at this moment, that no doubt is a problem with travelers.
How much of a hit could this be to North American travel, particularly some of those popular American destinations for Canadians? Of course, you mentioned snowbirds, but Canadians just wanted to get away for a quick vacation, those popular spots that rely on a certain amount of Canadians every year.
Yeah, it's scary because they really do depend on the Canadian dollar and the revenue of people coming down to spend. So short term, I think we have a problem. And my hope is with all maybe some good news in the next little while and maybe the Canadian dollar going up in value and maybe the tariff rules changing, as we saw today with China, maybe things will get better and travel will resume. I guess that's a good way of putting it.
Marty Firestone is the president of Travel Secure Inc. Marty, thanks so much for your time, for breaking this all down. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.